It says site can't be reached. Check and see if there's a typo in Campfire chat NOOR.
You're live.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our campfire chats. We are winding down the summer around the campfire, and tonight I am joined by two special guests, Dr. Harper Price and Dr. Maggie Mangold. If you have been in the Nevis community a while, you know that these two ladies are no stranger to Nevis Outreach and the work that we do, and we so appreciate their support. But I'll turn it over to them for just a second and let them tell our new friends who might be joining us for the first time who they are and what their role is. And we'll start with Dr. Price.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, or if you're, depending when you're watching this, I guess it's evening for me. I'm Harper Price. I'm a pediatric dermatologist at Phoenix Children's Hospital, division chief, and I run our research unit here. And I've had a big interest in congenital nevi and helping patients for my entire career. I've enjoyed working with Nevis Outreach since 2008, 2009.
And Maggie.
Hi, everybody. I'm so glad that people could join us tonight. I am a family physician by training, but most importantly, mom to a Nevis owner. My Nevis owner is Reed. He is 15, and I have been involved in Nevis Outreach since he was just a couple days old. Attended our first conference when he was 6 months old and had the joy of meeting Dr. Price at that point, and have just been involved in the organization since then. But most recently, after coming off the board of directors, has served as the registry coordinator for our new patient registry.
Yeah, great. I was doing the mental math, ladies, and it's like, oh, came on the community about the same time.
We did.
That's crazy. Well, that's awesome, Maggie, that you've been able to hop over and provide support for the patient registry. And for those people that don't know, we do have a patient registry that's we started last year in partnership with Pedra. And we just wanted to use this opportunity tonight to talk about why is a registry important, and how does it help Nevis Outreach, and how does it help the patients that are connected to our organization. So the first question that I'll pose is, how does building a patient registry directly support progress, especially in the rare disease research space? And why is it considered such a cornerstone to advancing understanding of these conditions like CMN or NCN? Dr. Price, you want to take a crack at that one first?
I will, thank you. The registry world is nothing new. Lots of both common and rare diseases are looked at this way, studied. I think particularly in those living with a rare disease, like living with nevus, it's very hard to make conclusions about what patients go through over time, what we call outcomes, patient outcomes. You heard that a lot. What those are. Do patients get melanoma? Do they have seizures? Do they grow similarly? For instance, I'm just giving examples, and with simple case reports of someone writing up a patient they may have had individually, it's very hard to make conclusions on what a patient living with CMN might go through. But when we're able to put multiple people living with CMN together, we can actually make more meaningful conclusions. And really important with rare disease is knowing what happens over time. And people move, right? People get different doctors. Like it's really hard, but through a registry, especially one like NOOR, where there's a virtual piece to it, it's online, it can be accessible to anyone with internet. This makes it much, much easier to get these important points and to know these outcomes that we're looking at, and maybe things we didn't even know about pop up, maybe associations that we can make that we've never thought of before. It also allows us to query patients and families about different things that we might learn along the way. So if you become a part of this registry, for instance, not only do you sort of agree to offer your medical information and what your life has been so far, but you can also opt in to be reached for us to ask you questions along the way, and also to do other studies that might have to do with different aspects of your care or different medical issues. So this is a really important way to learn a lot about something that affects few people. It's not like diabetes where, in a hospital we can look at 5,000 people and study what happens. You need a lot of people together, and that's hard to do with any rare disease. And we know everyone's not the same, so this allows us to really look into people's lives that they share with us in a way to make meaningful decisions, to look at what is the best way to care for patients. Are we doing the right things? I was always told, if we're not changing our practice and making things better, we're doing something wrong. We need to learn more. We need to make sure that what we're offering as far as care is the right thing to do. And the only way we'll know that is by looking at long periods of time with patients traveling with us during that. So that's why I think it's such a cornerstone. I can't really think of a better way to do it at this point either. I think this is a unique opportunity for not only children to get enrolled, but young adults and adults. We want to hear how life has been and not just how it's going to be. So I just want to put a plug in for the adults out there. It doesn't exclude you at all. We can also enroll patients that have passed away, which is a really unique thing that this registry offers. It gives, I think, families and caregivers a chance to feel that they're contributing to science, which I think is really special.
Absolutely. And I know that this project's been in process for a long time, and a lot of those decisions were thought about carefully, and we just felt like especially the adult experience would be really helpful. And then as Harper said, people that have passed away, that's not always included in these types of platforms, but we felt like we know that honoring those people, and also thinking about how the lessons that we can learn from those records and things like that might be really powerful. So we're really interested to reach particularly those two pockets of people. I know that I was talking with someone about the data that's in there now, and it seems like we have a skew, as you might imagine, in like kind of a younger patient population.
Little people. Yep.
Cool. And so we would love to have an additional kind of elbow room in those other directions as well. Maggie, obviously this has been a labor of love and a partnership from moment one on for so many organizations who have linked arms with Nevis Outreach in this process. Tell me, why do you think partnerships are so important in making this registry happen?
Yeah, partnerships have really been such an important part in Nevis Outreach's journey as a whole. And I think about how Nevis Outreach was there at the beginning of PEDRA. So PEDRA is actually a younger organization than Nevis Outreach. And pediatric dermatologic research wasn't happening at the level that it needed to. And that's where PEDRA was born. And so our belief in PEDRA, their belief in us, this synergy has really created this environment where we're all trying to do the same thing, trying to meet the same goals. Some of the things that PEDRA has brought to the table is a very robust amount of researchers. So they're a research organization. So we have scientists and researchers, we have industry partners, we have all sorts of other people that come to the table that want to hear what we're doing, how we're doing it, and really be allies for us in collecting and using that data. Because we can collect all the data we want, but if nobody's willing to study it or publish it, it really doesn't mean anything. And so having those partnerships with our researchers, with our industry partners, is really what is going to take this registry from just a collection of data to meaningful outcomes for individuals.
Yeah, Harper, can you speak a little bit about, obviously I know you connected with Nevis Outreach maybe initially while you were still in your training years. And so tell me a little bit about particularly PEDRA's access to, interest in kind of navigating those early career dermatologists, and even connecting with students before they've even matched in dermatology. I kind of laugh sometimes and tell the story that so far I have a pretty good high success rate of taking students kind of under my wing and getting them matched in dermatology. I think I'm 4 for 4 at this point, but subject to change at any time. But really, we as an organization take it very seriously, the opportunity to invest in younger trainees and kind of help them make the connections they need in the derm world or any other specialty that would be connected to us. And I'm really excited to kind of see that play out. But maybe you can, as a longtime Pedra member, like talk about things that you've seen that has shaped people's careers.
Absolutely. And it has shaped mine as well. I'm a big fan of Pedra. I want to put a plug that Maggie and I just did a podcast too on CMN. So I think anybody can access that. And that's definitely a good one to listen to from a patient point of view, as well as Maggie shared her son Reed's story. So definitely check that out. I think Pedra is really interesting. And I think if you're outside of medicine, it sometimes gets confusing, right? We have our own society, pediatric dermatology, where we mostly deal with pediatric patients, but many of us take care of patients into adulthood because a lot of adult dermatologists don't feel comfortable or don't have the same type of training. So even though we have pediatric in the name, Pedra and Society for Peds Derm, it doesn't limit us. We still know a lot about taking care of adults with rare disease. So I want to put that out there. Pedra is really cool in that it offers a structure for people learning research, even if they don't end up being pediatric dermatologists or someone that just says, wow, I want to get into research. Peds Derm seems cool. As medical students, people taking gap years, like a research year, will often come to the meeting. And there are different groups, working groups based on the diagnosis. So we have like an inflammatory skin disease. We have a birthmark group, which congenital nevi falls under. And then we have a working group under birthmarks, which is our CMN working group. And this is the one that wrote the paper on the care of the newborn. So there's power in masses, and lots of people have really good ideas. And we continue to drive more people to our group just by coming to Pedra, and they hear about, wow, what is this group doing? And thus we get a lot of great ideas. I think you interviewed Kim, who's amazing, who's been critical with the Skin Fragility Project and NOOR. So we get these amazing students and sometimes residents also that have all the energy in the world, a lot of technical skills, a lot of interest and passion, and they help us get the work done. And they may even kind of push their career into that way, which is really cool. I recently gave a talk at our society meeting, Society for Pediatric Dermatology, about congenital nevi, and I think I was telling you, you guys, I had a line of students saying, oh my gosh, like I never knew there was so much to congenital nevi. Like I want to study it more. How can I learn it? And I was like, wow, that's awesome. So just kind of puts this condition at the forefront, which I think we need to do with all rare disease education, awareness. So I think that's where Pedra can really help sort of get the young people, as you said, into and driving the force forward, because it has been a long time, and fresh blood's always great.
Well, and I think that Nevis Outreach has such an incredible opportunity. Earlier this year, as you guys know, one of our founders, Kathy Stewart, passed away. Her family chose to establish a student fellowship program in her honor, in her memory. And so we're working now to kind of figure out, okay, what should that criteria look like? How do we plug people in? And so we're really excited about that opportunity to continue to invest in that next generation of researchers. And it really does take someone, coming and making it their life's work and then passing on that baton to the person behind them, because the goal here is those long-term outcomes. So Maggie, Harper, I'll let you both kind of chime in on this question. How can a registry help us track long-term outcomes and identify patterns across the community and just build that evidence base that will influence standard of care and kind of give us best practice as we move forward?
Do you want to start, Maggie, or you want me to?
Sure. If you catch the Pedra podcast, we kind of touched on this a little bit. One of the most frustrating things to me as a mom of a child with a rare disease has been when people say, well, is that related to his condition? And I say, I don't know, because we just don't have the data. There's not enough numbers to pool and say, is there a greater likelihood of this happening or that happening? And I think it leaves families feeling frustrated or alone or feeling like their care's fragmented. And so for me as a mom, as a mom who's getting ready to launch my young adult into adulthood, being able to say, hey, these are the things we need to watch for, and this is the frequency we should be watching for them, and knowing when new things pop up. So that registry data to be able to say, oh gosh, it looks like 30-year-olds are experiencing this. This might need to be something that is on our radar. That kind of tool to be able to track those outcomes through a lifespan is not something we've had. We've had people getting together at a conference and sharing their experience, but we've not had anything that has been, validated or robust in a way to actually be able to track those outcomes. So I'm really excited to be able to arm patients and families with that data they need to really know what they need to be looking for at different points of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that absolutely very, very well said. I think in the registry questions, we ask about the things we know about, neurologic concerns, when did you have a scan, those types of things. But we have no evidence in the literature that, actually we have no evidence. We have some evidence, but we don't, kind of what we're doing as physicians and providers in the community in the US is based on case reports, case series, things that everyone thinks that we're doing the best we can. But what we don't really have is like an evidence-based care guideline. And I think that's what many people want in your community, right? Is like, we want to know we're doing the best for our child, for myself, whoever that is, at the right time, that we're doing the appropriate screenings, that we're not missing something. In the same aspect, there are many conditions medicine where we overdo it. We're actually doing things that never change the outcome. We think we might be doing the right thing and we mean well, but those are the important things. Like what should we be doing and what shouldn't we be doing? And so I think that's where when we ask people what's happening to them over their lives, there are certain things that we know we're going to ask about, but as Maggie said, things may come up because we're asking about people's medical condition. Maybe you find that 200 people have additional condition that we didn't think was related. Now we're going to look at that, right? And so I think that's the power of a registry. The other thing that I wanted to emphasize is, besides being able to maybe make eventually some recommendations on care, and that isn't just consensus or based on the limited evidence we have, we think you should be doing this, but is that a powerful database like this eventually can interface with industry, people that want to do that have medications for, let's say, NCM or melanoma. It's very hard to find patients with rare disease out in the community. They're spread out. They may not have access to know what's going on with research. So this is a database that can be very powerful. Families or patients can opt into learning about new research. If they're interested and it's applicable to them, it will send them a message. And then also what the hope is that those young researchers, like you said, Lauren, or people that have a great interest in this or have an idea could use the registry with the correct checks and balances, get some data that's not identifiable to study a question, an important question that's come up. And so it doesn't necessarily have to even be people in our working group, people in our organizations can come forward. Anyone can come forward and say, wow, here's something we really want to study. Can we do that? So that's the power of this. It's the way to move forward is to involve as many people and groups as we can, and that's the goal of this. The progress has been slow because it's just been a small pocket of people. The more that we can expand and have people have access to this hopefully wonderful registry database, the better. So I think that's just that's sort of how this can be the cornerstone of progress, of maybe drug development, of care guidelines, of who should we be screening when, melanoma drugs, when I have all these kind of ideas, but that's, I think, where it's at. But registry participants can, opt out or into these things. So I want to make that clear as of right now. Like, it's not something that you have to opt into to be contacted. And there's very strict guidelines on what researchers can and can't share. So I want to put that out there just so people feel safe.
Absolutely. And our partnership with Pedra, as we've built out an oversight committee and a structure of researchers that are coming together to kind of champion this. And then we have on our oversight committee, we have representation from our board of directors. We have representation from our community. Our community reps are Shay Line and Mike Vudo and Lily Hennessy. They'll be joining us on our very first Research Oversight Committee meeting coming up in just a few weeks.
Okay.
And so that's really exciting. And we'll have those folks involved in actually the decision-making process of who can access this data and what they can do with it. And those positions will turn over so that we always have kind of vested interest of people that are currently in the community to serve in those roles. So I'm really excited about that opportunity to continue to just kind of reach out into the community and plug people in these volunteer roles that are so important to helping us accomplish our research goals as an organization. There's so many more things that I want to say about goals and kind of things that we want to try to accomplish in the next 18 months in terms of research. But I will say that there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes, lots of wheels turning, lots of fantastic momentum. And if I heard a lot of you on our survey that we sent out a couple weeks ago, or we've been collecting responses for the last few weeks, and they said, we want to know more about research. And I'm like, I want to respond to everyone and just say, give me like from now until the conference, and we'll have a lot more stuff. Right? And we're going to make sure that our 2026 conference is not a wasted opportunity to move as much research forward as we can at that point. So stay tuned for more details on that. And if you're an outreach angel, a monthly donor, someone that's linking arms with us on a regular basis to fund this work, we have another meeting coming up on Thursday evening. It's invitation only, so check your email box. And if you think you should have gotten one and you didn't for some reason, send me an email. And if you're interested and want to be in the room, we'll see if we can make it happen. So that's my shameless plug for more things coming Thursday night. But thank you, Harper and Maggie, for joining me tonight. And I appreciate your work and dedication to this project for sure.
And
Thank you
thank
for
you.
having us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Nevis Outreach, for all your advocacy for patients. And
Likewise, Lauren, you're a true champion there. It's amazing what you all have done, and I'm so excited to watch everything grow. It's been awesome. Strong work.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.